Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you my portfolio allocation template that I made. And this is the tool that I use to keep track of my portfolio and keep all the weights how I would like them to be. So if you're using a brokerage like M1 Finance or something like that, you can automatically put in what you want your weight to be in each stock or index fund that you're investing in, and it'll automatically buy the appropriate fractional shares, etc., that it needs to do to maintain that. But if you're using pretty much any other brokerage, you're gonna have to do that yourself. This is a little Google Sheets file that I put together, and it's what I use to keep track of my investments. So I'm just going to walk you through how it works, and I'll have the copy of it linked below so you can feel free to try it out for yourself. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to put in the current value of our portfolio. Say it's $10,000. That's what we'll put in. And as you can see right now, all of it's in discretionary by default. So that's essentially the cash position. So it's just all going into there, and we're going to have to fill out the rest of this. So the next thing you'll want to do is go in and decide what tickers you want in your portfolio. This is how I have my Roth IRA set up in my early 20s, so it's pretty growth oriented. As you can see, I have the NASDAQ in there, and I also have the ARK fund, which has a lot of small cap growth oriented stocks in it, as well as some crypto exposure with its large holding of Coinbase. And that is what I feel comfortable holding, but you can feel free to change these however you would like. You could even insert a line here and add more, but as long as you have assuming you have a few index funds, this will work just fine for you. So we could change this to something else if we wanted to, but for now I'll just leave it as ARK. I believe these are what their prices were as of Friday, but what you would want to come in and do after you've decided what stocks you're holding is go in here and fill out the market price per share. And now that we've done that, we would come in here and decide the weights we want for our portfolio. So I'll set this up similar to how I have my Roth set up. So that is 50% is in VTI, 20% is in the NASDAQ, 15 is in the International Index Fund, and 5% is in Cathie Wood's ARK Fund. And the remaining 10% is invested in individual stock picks and other things that I would like, or even some smaller index funds. Anything below 5% is just getting thrown into this discretionary category. So this is what the portfolio should look like. In a perfect world, you'll have exactly this amount of each one, and that'll perfectly equal 10,000, and you'll have exactly these weights. But obviously, we need to fill out what our portfolio actually looks like. And for instance, if we use a brokerage that doesn't allow fractional share purchases like E-Trade, which is who I keep my Roth IRA with, they only allow you to sell fractional shares. For instance, if you are enrolled in their dividend reinvestment program, so anytime that stock pays a dividend, it'll reinvest it. So you end up with some weird decimal amount of a share. So they'll allow you to sell a fractional share, but you can't go and on your own buy fractional shares for whatever reason. So you're going to only have to you're going to have to buy whole shares, which is fine. We'll just get this as close as we can. So assuming we can't buy fractional shares, we can look at this and be like, okay, so we need to put 22 in here, 5 here, about 24 in there, and 11 there. So we'll be a little overweight on discretionary, but that's fine. This portfolio would be pretty close to exactly where we want it to be. And then we would go and purchase our shares and we're good to go. So the other part of this is managing the portfolio. So say we come back to it in 6 months and our value is $11,000. We'll say this went up to 230. This is at 400. So this maybe went down a little bit to 62, and this is at 45. Now, these are the weights of what our portfolio should be, but it might not be. We might have only, say we haven't bought any more stocks since then. This is where we're at. We'll need to update this. So this is where it's really useful. It'll show us right here exactly how much we need to buy of each one so that we can maintain the exact weights that we would like to hold. So we could then go and update that and say we go in and buy some more VTI. So we buy 2 shares, now we're at 24. We just leave that one the same. Maybe we buy 3 of this one, so we're at 27. And then ARK, we buy 1 more share. So now we're at 12. So we can see we're still a little overweight on the discretionary section, but again, that's totally fine. So assuming you have a brokerage that allows fractional investing, like Fidelity, for example, you could go and we could buy the exact amounts of each one. We could update that. And we'll see we are going to end up exactly, so I guess some rounding error here or something, but more basically we will be right on the money, exactly how we want our portfolio to be. So I hope you found this helpful. I think in a future video, it would be useful for me to go through my personal Roth IRA. So I'll do that, and I'll also upload that so you can get an insight into a younger guy, like what I'm currently investing in, how my portfolio looks, and maybe that would be of some benefit to you. But if you have any questions, please drop them below. And again, in the description, I will have this spreadsheet linked so you can go and add it to your Google Sheets library and take a crack at using it. Let me know if it helps you manage your portfolio better.